Welcome to the Bible Quiz. Today, we invite you to explore the mystery with 25 challenging questions that will reveal some of the most fascinating figures in the Bible. How well do you know these figures who shape the foundation of our faith? This quiz will test your knowledge as we explore their lives, choices, and legacies. Before you begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Let us know your score, thoughts, or suggestions for future quizzes in the comments below. Are you ready to discover who's who in the Bible? Let's get started. Question 1. To whom did the Lord say, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what the Lord says, let my people go, so that they may worship me'?" A. Aaron. B. Moses. C. Joshua. D. Samuel. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Moses. The Lord spoke to Moses in Exodus chapter 8, verse 1, commanding him to confront Pharaoh and demand the release of the Israelites. This was part of God's plan to deliver his people from slavery in Egypt, and it set the stage for the dramatic plagues and the eventual Exodus. Question 2. Who said, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished"? A. Esau. B. Isaac. C. Jacob. D. Joseph. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Esau. Esau spoke these words in Genesis chapter 25, verse 30, when he returned from hunting and found Jacob preparing stew. In his desperation, Esau traded his birthright for a meal, illustrating how easily temporary desires can lead to significant long-term consequences. Question 3. Fill in the blank. As handsome a young man as could be found anywhere in Israel, and he was a head taller than anyone else. A. Saul. B. David. C. Absalom. D. Jonathan. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Saul. Saul's striking physical appearance set him apart, and he was chosen as the first king of Israel. His initial humility and impressive stature made him a natural leader, though his reign would later be marred by disobedience and downfall. 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 2. Question 4. To whom did the Lord say, "Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward"? A. Isaac. B. Abram. C. Jacob. D. Moses. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Abram. The Lord said this to Abram in Genesis chapter 15, verse 1, offering reassurance after Abram had turned down earthly riches from the king of Sodom. God promised to be Abram's protection and ultimate reward, affirming his covenant and Abram's faith in trusting God's promises, which later led to the fulfillment of God's promise through his descendants. Question 5. Who was the firstborn mentioned in the verse? It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. A. Sarah. B. Rachel. C. Leah. D. Rebecca. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Leah. The firstborn is Leah, mentioned in Genesis chapter 29, verse 26, when Laban explained to Jacob why he had deceived him into marrying Leah instead of her younger sister Rachel. This act of trickery led to Jacob working an additional 7 years to marry Rachel, showcasing the complexity of family and cultural customs. Your journey to never missing a quiz starts with the subscribe button. Click it now and stay connected with us. Question 6. Who was the king of Israel referred to in the verse? Get up and eat. Cheer up. I'll get you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. A. David. B. Solomon. C. Saul. D. Ahab. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Ahab. The king referred to as Ahab found in 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 7. His wife Jezebel encouraged him to take Naboth's vineyard by deceitful means. Ahab's moral weakness and Jezebel's ruthlessness resulted in the unjust death of Naboth, further displaying Ahab's corruption and God's eventual judgment upon him. Question 7. Who said, "Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it"? A. Aaron. B. Moses. C. Caleb. D. Joshua. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Caleb. Caleb said this in Numbers chapter 13, verse 30, urging the Israelites to take possession of the promised land despite the intimidating report from the other spies. Caleb's unwavering faith in God's promise stood in stark contrast to the fear and doubt of the others, highlighting his courage and trust in God's ability to deliver victory. Question 8. Who said, "Behold, I am the servant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word"? A. Mary. B. Ruth. C. Martha. D. Elizabeth. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Mary. Mary said this in Luke chapter 1, verse 38, when the angel Gabriel announced that she would conceive Jesus. Her response reflects her humble acceptance of God's will and her profound faith, making this a moment of great significance in the story of Christ's birth. Question 9. Who was the prophet who said, "How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen, or cry out to you, violence, but you do not save"? A. Isaiah. B. Zechariah. C. Jeremiah. D. Habakkuk. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Habakkuk. The prophet Habakkuk expressed frustration over the violence and injustice around him, questioning why God seemed silent. His dialogue with God highlights his struggle to understand God's actions while still holding on to faith, showing that it's natural to seek answers in times of doubt. Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 2. Question 10. Who said, "Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord"? A. Dathan. B. Korah. C. Abiram. D. Balaam. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Korah. Korah said this in Numbers chapter 16, verse 3, challenging the authority of Moses and Aaron during the Israelites' journey through the wilderness. Korah's rebellion against their leadership led to severe consequences, serving as a warning against pride and disobedience to God's chosen leaders. Question 11. To whom did the Lord say, "I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you"? A. Isaac. B. Jacob. C. Moses. D. Abraham. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Abraham. The Lord said this to Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, as part of the covenant he made with him. This promise marks the beginning of God's plan to make Abraham the father of many nations, and through his lineage, all nations would be blessed, ultimately pointing to the coming of Christ. Question 12. Who said, "The sovereign Lord has sworn by his holiness, the time will surely come when you will be taken away with hooks, the last of you with fish hooks"? A. Amos. B. Isaiah. C. Hosea. D. Jeremiah. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Amos. The prophet Amos said this in Amos chapter 4, verse 2, delivering a message of judgment against the people of Israel for their disobedience and injustice. This prophecy foretold the coming exile and destruction as a consequence of their unrepentant hearts. Question 13. Who was told, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground"? A. Elijah. B. David. C. Moses. D. Joshua. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Moses. Moses was told this by God in Exodus chapter 3, verse 5 at the burning bush on Mount Horeb. This moment marked the beginning of Moses' mission to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, and the removal of his sandals symbolized reverence in the presence of God. Question 14. Who said, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies"? A. Paul. B. John. C. Peter. D. Jesus. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Jesus. Jesus said this in John chapter 11, verse 25, when he was speaking to Martha after the death of her brother Lazarus. This profound declaration emphasizes Jesus' divine authority over life and death, offering eternal hope to those who believe in him. Question 15. Who was the prophet that predicted the fall of Babylon, saying, "Babylon is fallen, is fallen"? A. Daniel. B. Isaiah. C. Elijah. D. Jeremiah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Isaiah. The prophet Isaiah predicted the fall of Babylon in Isaiah chapter 21, verse 9. His declaration foretold the destruction of this mighty empire, emphasizing that no nation, no matter how powerful, can stand against God's judgment when it turns away from righteousness. Question 16. Who said, "I know that my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand on the earth"? A. Job. B. David. C. Isaiah. D. Jeremiah. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Job. Job said this in Job chapter 19, verse 25, expressing his deep faith in God's justice despite his immense suffering. Job's statement of hope reflects his belief in a living Redeemer who will ultimately vindicate him, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Question 17. Who said, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked"? A. Moses. B. Jeremiah. C. David. D. Solomon. You get 10 seconds. That's C. David. This was said in Psalm chapter 1, verse 1, traditionally attributed to David. The verse opens the book of Psalms by highlighting the path of righteousness, urging people to avoid sinful influences and embrace a life of faithfulness to God, which leads to true blessing. Question 18. Who said, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future"? A. Amos. B. Isaiah. C. Ezekiel. D. Jeremiah. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Jeremiah. The prophet Jeremiah said this in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. It is part of a message from God to the Israelites in exile, reassuring them of his good plans for their future. This verse continues to inspire hope, reminding us that God's purpose is to bring us peace and a hopeful future even in challenging times. Question 19. Who said, "Whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God"? A. Ruth. B. Esther. C. Hannah. D. Rebecca. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Ruth. Ruth said this to her mother-in-law Naomi in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16, expressing her deep loyalty and commitment. Despite the hardships ahead, Ruth chose to stay with Naomi, embracing her people and her faith. This statement highlights Ruth's devotion and marks the beginning of her journey into God's plan for her life. Question 20. Who said, "Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity"? A. Job. B. Isaiah. C. David. D. Solomon. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Solomon. Solomon, traditionally considered the author of Ecclesiastes, made this statement in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 2. It reflects his perspective on the fleeting and meaningless nature of earthly pursuits without a deeper connection to God, offering wisdom on the futility of worldly gains. Stay with us until the end of the video to see how many Bible quiz questions you got right. Don't forget to note your score and share it with us in the comments section. Let's explore and learn more about the Bible with these fun and interesting questions. Question 21. To whom did the Lord say, "My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness"? A. Peter. B. Paul. C. John. D. James. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Paul. The Lord told the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9 that his grace was enough to support him, even when he felt weak or struggled. This means that God's power is strongest when we feel weak. Paul's experience shows us that by trusting in God's strength instead of our own, we can grow spiritually and become stronger, even in tough times. Question 22. Fill in the blank. Mom, this day is salvation come to this house, for so much as he also is a son of Abraham. A. Jairus. B. Matthew. C. Zacchaeus. D. Nicodemus. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Zacchaeus. Jesus said this after Zacchaeus, a tax collector, demonstrated repentance and a willingness to make amends. This moment signifies Jesus' mission to seek and save the lost, regardless of their past. Luke chapter 19, verse 9. Question 23. Who said, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble"? A. David. B. Job. C. Solomon. D. Jeremiah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Job. Job said this in Job chapter 2, verse 10. Despite his immense suffering, Job reminded his wife that they must accept both blessings and hardships from God. His faith and perseverance in the face of adversity reflect his deep trust in God's sovereignty. Question 24. To whom did the Lord say, "Set your house in order, for you shall die and not live"? A. Saul. B. Ahab. C. Josiah. D. Hezekiah. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Hezekiah. The Lord said this to King Hezekiah in the 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 1. The prophet Isaiah delivered this message, telling the king to prepare for his death. However, after Hezekiah prayed, God extended his life by 15 years, showing the power of sincere prayer. Question 25. Who was addressed by God when he said, "Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting"? A. Cyrus. B. Darius. C. Belshazzar. D. Nebuchadnezzar. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Belshazzar. God addressed King Belshazzar in Daniel chapter 5, verse 27. This message, delivered through the writing on the wall, foretold the king's downfall due to his arrogance and misuse of sacred vessels. That very night, Babylon fell to the Medes and Persians, fulfilling the prophecy. Bravo! You've just completed our Unlock the Mystery quiz. Whether you got them all right or learned something new, remember, every character has a lesson to teach us. If you enjoyed this quiz, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who love Bible trivia. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more thought-provoking quizzes and biblical insights. Thank you for joining us today. May your journey through the Word continue to be filled with discovery and growth. See you in the next video.